Hello everyone, Son of the West again. Shroomy Sean, whatever you want to call me is fine. I'm gonna make another video here, continuing my Gospel of Thomas series. Basically, make a long story short, I ended with 17 last time, and so I'm gonna pick up with 18 and go through 21 today, because 18, 19, and 21 are a little bit longer. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do here. So number 18 says, number 18, the disciples said to Jesus, "Tell us how our end will come. Tell us, how will our end come?" Jesus said, "Have you found the beginning? Then that you are looking for the end. You see, the end will be where the beginning is. Congratulations to the one who stands at the beginning. That one will know the end and will not taste death." So he's talking about basically when you understand what the world is all about, when you understand what you're meant to do here, what the purpose of us being here is, then you'll understand the beginning, and you'll understand the reason for it, and you'll understand basically everything that you're supposed to understand as part of like graduation. You know, you don't graduate high school until you know at least what they, the answers for the test, right? And so that's basically what it is. This whole world, this whole life experience is a test of our character. It's a test of of who we are. It's kind of like I don't know really how to explain it other than that. If you know, okay, let me put it to you like this. Okay, why were Adam and Eve created? What did God ask them to do? Okay, God asked them to have children, and there's a reason that he wanted Adam and Eve to have children, because God created Adam as his child, and he knew that they needed to have the father or the mother's perspective of their children. He knew that they needed to have that love of the father to their child or the mother to their child as part of being complete souls. He needed them to understand his perspective. And the only way that they would understand his perspective is to kind of go through being a father and kind of go through being a mother and understanding what disobedient children are and what selfish children are and all of those things. So once you, like I said, go to school and start to realize, start to build up yourself as a child of God, in not so much that anybody else would see you that way, but so that God would see you as his child, because God wants children who understand him. And when you know the beginning, then you understand that you don't want to be here no more. You understand that there's a far better life awaiting you once you graduate this transitory world. And that's what he meant by that one will know the end and not taste death. So number 19 says, Jesus said, "Congratulations to the one who came into being before coming into being. If you become my disciples and pay attention to my sayings, these stones will serve you. For there are 5 trees in paradise for you. They do not change summer or winter, and their leaves do not fall. Whoever knows them will not taste death." So when he says congratulations to the one who came into being, in other words, you learn how to be before you die, because as you die, you come into being in the next life, in the next world. So this to perceive death is the end of the physical self. And as you are not physical, you are spiritual in a body, learning how to be, learning how to interact, learning how to do, to be who you are and to be a good child, then congratulations to you. Because like I said, you're ahead of the game. You know, you're ahead of all the rest. You got it. You got it under control. And it's not really that, you know, it's, I don't know really how to explain it other than that to you. It's, if you become Jesus's follower, you know, in other words, if you become your own individual child of God, and then if you are a child of God, you're following Jesus, and you're learning from what he was saying, you know, because his sayings are so pure and so easy to understand to those who are his true followers, that those stones will serve you. His teachings written down, made physical, are those stones. His teachings will serve you. In other words, it will help you become who you are, a better child of God, because you'll see that that's the best way to be. So there are 5 trees in paradise for you. They do not change summer or winter, and their leaves do not fall. Whoever knows them will not taste death. Now, I am positive in this portion of the saying that he's talking about entheogens. And because there are 5 main entheogens, there are others, but there are 5 main ones. And one of them is DMT, one of them is psilocybin, one of them is cannabis, one of them is the San Pedro cactus or mescaline, and there's another one, LSD. And so those are 5 entheogens. If you know those entheogens, then you know how to connect with the Father in you. You know how to transcend your consciousness. And that's what you must learn how to do before you leave this world, because you can't get to where you're going if you don't know how to get there. And so you got to find it during your life. Otherwise, when it comes time for you to go, you won't know where to go. And so therefore, if you don't know how to leave this world, then you're going to taste death. And it's your own fault for not trying. So if you can learn how to use entheogens to transcend your consciousness and to overcome your worldly self and to truly see yourself and make the choice to be the best that you can be instead of being better than everybody else, then, because to be better than everybody else is an ego pursuit. And ego must be overcome, because that's part of what you're meant to do in this life, is to let all of those selfish, egotistic, you know, self-righteous behaviors go. So number 20 says, the disciples said to Jesus, "Tell us what heaven's kingdom is like." He said to them, "It's like a mustard seed, the smallest of all seeds, but when it falls on prepared soil, it produces a large plant and becomes a shelter for birds of the sky." In other words, heaven is spirituality. Heaven is the kingdom of eternal life is within you. It's your energy, and you are that energy, though you do not know yourself as that right now. So being like a mustard seed, the smallest of all seeds, if it falls on prepared soil, it produces a large plant and becomes a shelter for birds of the sky. In other words, basically, when spiritual truth comes into you and you've already had this kind of awakening, this spiritual awakening that happens as you transcend your consciousness through the entheogenic process, through the shamanistic mystic communions and like psilocybin mushrooms, then it prepares your soil, and that allows the truth to come in and to flourish in you and to become a large part of God's plan, basically, because at that point then you know enough to help others, though you can't give them the answers. You have to be there when they ask questions, and then you can ask questions that help them find the answers. So that's basically what that is you become a shelter for spiritual, guidance of, those who are guiding our consciousnesses, those who are actually in charge of the growth of the children of God, can work through you to help everyone, because you're no longer selfish, and you're no longer saving all your energy only for yourself. You're using your energy to help everyone else, and that's how it's meant that you become a shelter for birds of the sky, because you become an instrument of God's will at that point. So number 21 says, Mary says to Jesus, "What are your disciples like?" He said, "They are like little children living in a field that is not theirs. When the owners of the field come, they will say, 'Give us back our field.' They take off their clothes in front of them in order to give it back to them, and they return their field to them. For this reason I say, if the owners of a house know that a thief is coming, they will be on guard before the thief arrives, and will not let the thief break into their house, their domain, and steal their possessions. As for you, then, be on guard against the world. Prepare yourselves with great strength, so the robbers can't find a way to get to you, for the trouble you expect will come. Let there be among you a person who understands." When the crop ripened, he came quickly, carrying a sickle, and harvested it. Anyone here with 2 good ears had better listen. In other words, when you realize that you're a child of God, you realize that you are not of this world. You are not a physical self. And so when Jesus said they are like little children living in a field that is not theirs, this world is not your world. You're here for a purpose, but that purpose is to go, but you can't go until you've done what you're meant to do. And I can't tell you what you're meant to do. I can only tell you that within you is that. Within you is the knowledge of what you're supposed to do, but you need to focus on that. And the psychedelic experience gives you a sudden awareness of that, if I can explain it like that. When the owners of the field come, they will say, "Give us back our field," because those of the world are selfish and they want all of it for themselves. So when they say, "Give us back our field," they take off their clothes. Your physical self, your body, is your clothes. And so to take off that clothes, and when you leave the physical body, you give them their world. And for this reason I say, if the owners of a house know that a thief is coming, they will be on guard before the thief arrives, and will not let the thief break into their house and steal their possessions. So the people that feel like they're physical are the possessions of the government. They're the possessions of the organized religions of the world. And so therefore the spiritual child, the disciple of Christ, comes in and starts to tell them the truth, which wakes them up and frees them from their confusion and their enslavement. And that's why the organized religions, Pharisees and Sadducees, killed Jesus, or plotted to have him killed, because he was freeing minds, and he was turning away the people from the temples and things, because it was he knew that it was a scheme to make them money and power. So as for you, be on guard against the world. Prepare yourselves with great strength, so the robbers can't find a way to get to you, for the trouble you expect will come. So understand that if you're a child of God and you're freeing people's minds, know that people are going to say, "Hey, look, let's get that guy, because he's freeing our slaves. He's waking them up. He's teaching them to turn away from us." And as you, as a child of God, as a disciple of Christ who are carrying on his message and his work, begin to free these minds, as a whole group becomes free and awake and aware, and understanding, then remember understanding, then those group are going to be ready to go. And then the harvest boss, which is the harvest, is, you know, the seeds of God that are here growing are taken up, and the weeds, which are the selfish and the worldly children and the people who are worldly desired, you know, ego and greed and selfishness and all that, which are weeds basically, stay behind and are, you know, left behind. And so anyone here with two good ears had better listen. So in other words, if you have a spiritual ear and you have a physical ear, and so if your spiritual self is awake and you're hearing truth, then you better listen to what he says when he says that, because that's another path, a path to the end. So good luck to you guys. God bless, and great day.